What we'll do in today's demo is we'll go through and kind of show you everything within the command center, including the additional changes that we have made. I'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into those changes that we have made, but I want to give you guys an overall experience of the command center in its entirety. What you guys will see when you guys log in is a page with your guys' locations on it. It's called the dashboard view within customer view. As you can see down below is a map of all your locations. You can see that there's some green, there's some yellow. If you click into those specific locations, it'll tell you the location, the address, and the amount of open calls that you have for each location. Yellow obviously is an indicator that there is an open call prevalent at that location. Green means that there's no open calls for those that specific location. Up above, what you'll see is interactive tabs. So if I click into each one of the interactive tabs, it's going to dive into that specific location. So the locations tab took me to the locations tab over here. From there, what you'll see is a quick search icon. That quick search icon allows me to dive into a more specific location. So if I wanted to only see locations with Boise in it, I could type in Boise up here, and it's going to bring me to the locations that have Boise in one of those lines. If I delete it, go back, it's going to take me back to the original locations. Each one of these tabs you can also sort. So by clicking on the locations tab, it's going to sort it by numerical value. Over in the actions menu, you're going to see, when you click the actions menu, you'll see a request service, a details, a service calls, a projects, an edit ID field, and a manage user access. This manage user access is a singular location access. So if I wanted to manage user access for only the Spokane location, I would dive in here and do that. So going up to the request service, this is going to be one of the changes that you guys will be accompanied by. So you'll see some differences from what the old request service looked like. So in the old request service, it was a tiered looking browser. Here, you'll enter the title. Title can be test, it can be whatever you want. The PO, obviously that's going to be blank. The company should be auto-filled, and the location. So this is going to be new to the request service. So as you can see, you can submit via one location or multiple locations. So if this was blank and I requested service, it would be multiple locations. From there, you'll select a category, whether it be access control, alarm, ATM, ITM, security service, surveillance, TCA, TCR, or command center. So you'll go through and select the accompanying category. From there, you'll see on the right-hand side that it auto-generates to the individual who's creating the ticket. That's not necessarily who the institution or customer wants as the main point of contact. So by going over here to the Assign Contact tab, you can click into it and actually assign an individual. Let's say I'm going to assign this to Julie. As you can see, it now changes Julie as the main point of contact. I can then go add a carbon copy. So if I wanted to add myself as a carbon copy, not the main point of contact, but the CC, I could do that. I could then add associated attachments as well. So if for some reason, say there was an image, or say there was some documentation I wanted to add as well, you could go in here and add associated documents as well. Click save, and then you would see it on the attachments. Put a brief description. The description has to be at least 25 characters. We have had some customers that have created a case and it errors out because there's not 25 characters. So go in, put at least 25 characters, click create, and then you'll see an associated ticket. I'm going to cancel this out because I don't need it. But that takes me to the service requests. The service request is the other option, the other new option that we've come up to in Command Center. So as you can see up at the top, there's now a ticket and a service order. What differentiates a ticket from a service order, many people ask. A ticket is anytime a request for service is created. So a ticket is something that we're going to try to go in, fix remotely, and if our NOC, or our Network Operations Center, is unable to remotely fix the issue, they will then generate the service order for you. So this is an automated process. Once you guys create a ticket, there will be conclusive information sent to and from our NOC to let you know where we're at with each product. So ticket, service order, those are the two major changes. When I jump into service orders, it's going to be just like it was in the past, where you guys could see those same views. You could sort by location, by call type, by problem type, and then also by status. So you still have that ability, but now we added this ticket page. When you see this show bundled over here, this show bundled, if you can see, there's this plus icon. So anything that is corresponding to the same item within a unique period of time is going to be bundled together. So say one branch or two branches have submitted the same ticket for the same piece of hardware, it actually bundles them together and allows you to see all the different tickets that have been opened for that particular piece of hardware. From there, you can actually dive in to each ticket. You can view or edit it. So if I wanted to come in here and view this specific ticket, I can see associated notes, attachments, and service orders for this specific ticket. If I wanted to add additional notes, I would simply come in here, add additional notes, assign it. Obviously, I'm the main point of contact on this. And then you guys could add additional attachments if need be. Say it started working, but you're still getting a different error message. You could add it here, click submit, and it would add it to this specific note. From there, obviously, you could see the resources. You could see the primary contact. If I went into service orders, I could then open the details of the service order from the specific ticket. I could see the work order number, the PO number, the open date, the scheduled date, and associated notes as well. If there was a technician available, their image would be here for that specific ticket. So going back to service requests, you could request service again here. This is something that you'll see as a consistent thing, is we have multiple options to request service in different areas. So if I was to go in here, obviously the select location is empty because of the fact that I'm not requesting service from a specific location. I'm requesting service from the request or the service request field. So if you went in here and you left it blank, it would be all locations. If you select a specific location, then obviously it's for that specific location. So when I navigate to the equipment field, again, every one of our fields and every one of our pages has an export feature. So you could export all of your equipment just to do an audit to make sure that you have all of your equipment labeled. You could sort, again, quick search or search by equipment type. If I went up and did an alarm panel, it's going to search for all alarm panels and only show me them. So again, our action menu allows you to request service for this specific item. Hopefully in the future, we ask all customers to try to navigate to the most beneficial and most direct area to request service. So if it's a specific item, navigate to that specific item and request service from that specific item rather than going to the notifications. It just helps our Network Operations Center expedite the ticket for your specific branch by doing so. Now, if I navigate down to the projects, this project obviously has a locations and also a finished or in process status that you can search by. So if I go to finished and click go, it's going to show me the finished projects that my institution has. If I go in process, it's going to show me all the in process statuses. When I go to view detail, what you can see is associated ID, the stage of the project. You can see the project start date and the actual start date as well. The neat thing with projects is that you can actually see who your project manager is, because a lot of times all of us, we have a lot going on. We're not sure who the direct contact is for this associated project. You could actually email directly from here. You can see associated notes for projects. So you could see where the project stands, what notes are there. You could see tech notes as well. So on November 9th, I reviewed the scope of work and picked up parts for the project. I will arrive on site at 9 a.m. on 11/16, and I confirmed with the branch. And then lastly, you can see who the technician is. So when you guys are going through your notes, you can audit it and make sure that everything co-aligns when that individual shows up. Surveys, these are site surveys or different install surveys that your institution has requested. Going here, you can either view the PDF or view the form. I typically suggest viewing the form. It's more interactive, but whatever you choose, you can do that. When going through this survey, you can see what is suggested. So for this ATM, this work order, you can go through, you can view an image of the location. So you can see the actual location of the install. You can see what's going to be installed, and then you can also view images of the particular machine that's going to be installed as well. So you can have all correlating information. You can see who has performed the site survey as well. And then lastly, preventative maintenance. This is an annual agreement we have with all our customers that we go through and perform preventative maintenance on your machines. So you can search this by machine. These are all completed preventative maintenance. Anything that's upcoming would be in the service requests under your, if I navigate back to here and go to the service order, and then I go to call type, preventative maintenance, and go open, you would go here, and that's where you guys would search for preventative maintenance that's upcoming or scheduled. But to view completed preventative maintenance, again, action menu, form, and then you can see associated maintenance that we completed on your particular machines as well. So again, scrolling through, you can see all the tasks that were completed on the panel, on the batteries, the keypads, the sensors, the hubs, and then lastly, you can see who actually performed the maintenance as well. In some of these, you'll also see imagery of the ITMs, ATMs, TCRs. So pretty neat that you can actually see the live image of that particular maintenance as well. Next, we're going to jump into remote view. So remote view is a pretty unique function. It allows our NOC to actually navigate into your guys' equipment, and again, it's going to have the same dashboard feel that our customer view did. What you can see is online versus offline terminals. When scrolling down, you can actually see the individual terminals that you guys have on your location. The nice thing within the dashboard view is you can actually see the ATM detail of that particular machine. So I can see that this, we named it Spider-Man. We have a unique thing where we name all of our ATMs after Marvel Comics. So it's pretty neat. You can actually see the last 10 ticket history. If I go into Terminal 1, you can see ticket history, the last 10. If I navigate over here, it's actually going to open up that associated ticket. So rather than having to go through all your tickets, figure out which one, you can actually navigate to the specific terminal and view the last 10 ticket histories. EJs, you can again see the last 10 EJs that's associated with that terminal. So that's just a brief dashboard view. Analytics, this dives in a little bit deeper to these specific terminals and lets you know associated analytics. So for this one, we can see within the last 24 hours, there's been 30 counts of a balance inquiry, 30 counts of fast cash, and 33 counts of withdrawals. You can see also there's associated, this is the amount of money that's been withdrawn. Down here, if there was associated time scales of when those transactions transpired, it would be there. Activity, this is again going to show you the type of activity that's taken place within the associated time frame that you have. And scrolling over, you can actually see the different fast cash amounts, withdrawals. And again, these are all sortable fields, and you can sort the terminal as well. So if I only wanted to see terminal 1, I could do that. Jumping back into activity, I apologize, but you can go down to host data, and it's going to give you a little bit more information. It's more generic, but it does provide you with a lot more information than the transactional data does. So this is just information that we have the ability to pull. So as you can see, it gives you PAN, it gives you the total amount of withdrawal, tells you from which account. So pretty neat functionality there. Next, we'll jump into EJs, or electronic journals. You'll select the terminal, you'll select the time frame, you'll click go. From there, you can actually create a case within Cook Command Center. So say there was a customer that had disputed a charge or said that they didn't receive enough money. You can actually create a case directly from your EJ module. Jumping into the EJ itself, you could see a downloadable receipt. You could see terminal information. You could see other information, dispute codes here. You could see associated charges. So if they were from out of the country and had an associated charge, you would see that. You could see amount information, and then lastly, bank information. The unique thing within EJs is if you have Pico or our VMS platform, it actually has event to video coupled with it. So you could see overhead view or associated video that you could correlate with the transaction itself. Obviously, this is our dev environment, so there's not actually a transaction taking place, but you could see the associated video, and when you create a case, it exports that video as well. So it saves you a little time when exporting video. And then lastly, details. This is going to be all the details of every single one of your ATMs or ITMs. This is going to give you associated information. You could see that this particular manufacturer is an NCR. It's a 2016 model. Kingsway Core Celeron CPU with a cash dispenser lobby. And this is more for our NOC and our technicians when they head out, but it's nice information to let you know that all of your ATMs are on the newest firmware or whatnot. Next, we're going to jump into case management. Dashboards, again, this is going to be something that you'll see regularly within all of our different viewpoints. It allows you to have an overarching view of what you're involved with in your current case. As you can see, I have 3 unassigned cases, 2 new, and 1 in progress. So if I jump down to my cases, it's going to show me all my active cases. If I go in here, you can actually edit, create additional notes, see the attachment, share with external users. This is really big right now in our market because, as you know, video and is just getting higher quality and getting more difficult to share over the emails and whatnot. So what you can do is you can actually come in here, create a case, and share it with external users. So when I go in here, we can actually jump in, and what you'll see is in this case, there's 4 associated images, 1 video, and 1 attachment. Right here, I can see the associated video that's correlating with this specific case. I can see that Daniel decides to back into a garbage can. So maybe he's sharing that with an insurance claims adjuster. So he can actually share this by going up to this shared icon, jumping in, have an associated name, phone number's not needed, an email, and then a validity type. The validity type is either a time usage or a date range. So say you want it to only be available for 2 views, and then that link is no longer relevant or prevalent to that individual. And then you could say car accident. Click OK, and then it would share it with that associated user. Again, images, attachments. If I wanted to add a new attachment, I'd simply come in here, add the document name, then what is it? Is it a video, an image, or a document? And then the peak, is it upload or is it a Pico stream? So you can upload directly from your Pico VMS platform. And then this is an important piece. So internal means that you can only share it with internal individuals in your organization. External means that you're trying to send it to somebody outside your organization. So many times we get customers saying, hey, I'm trying to share this with a police officer, but they can't view it. Make sure you go in and go to that attachment and make sure it's an external attachment, or you're not going to be able to view that. And then case shared log is all the cases that have been shared with your organization. This is something that, as long as you're a Pico user or have one of our remote view products, this comes to you at no additional cost. So you get free 10 gigs of storage, I believe, and from there, you can actually self-manage it. So if you guys are quarterly want to manage your cases, you could do it. If you guys want to annually manage your cases, you could do it. But there's enough storage there that if you guys were to manage your guys' cases, ideally, then you guys wouldn't have to pay for additional storage as well. Pico VMS, you have that dashboard here as well. So what I can see is that there's one server online, 7 cameras are recording. If I jump down here, I can actually see those specific cameras and see associated live imagery of those cameras within here. So I can see the upstate, I can see what's actually performing with those cameras, and I can see what their state is. And then lastly, alarm. These are going to be, if you have an alarm monitoring service with us, you're going to be able to access that here. Within the system, what you'll see is an audit log. You can see who's accessed these specific accounts. You're going to see an export user, a manage user, and a manage notification. Within the manage user, if you're an admin of your specific institution within Cook Command Center, this is where you would come in to adjust users. So this is something that we wholeheartedly recommend that your admins of your organization go in and manage. We don't know turnaround. We don't understand when somebody leaves your guys' organization without you telling us. So you guys have the ability and capability as an admin to actually to manage this area. So you can edit or delete individual users. So say I wanted to remove this test account. I would simply come down here, delete that test account. Or you could manage user access. So say for this user account, say I didn't want them to have access to a specific location, you would come in here and manage it there. As you can see, I don't have that option with the admins because admins are allowed access to all accounts automatically. If I wanted to add a new individual, I would simply come up here, add the associated information for the new individual, two-way authentication, one-time password or a PIN. We usually suggest PIN, but whatever your company standards are, time zone, and then projects and modules. This is what you want the individual to have access to within the command center. So you'll go through and choose the associated information that you'd want them to have, and then grant access to all locations or grant access to selected locations only. And then you'll go through and click those associated information or locations. Click create, they'll receive an email. Sometimes it gets sent to your spam, so make sure that you check your deleted or your spam logs if it's sent there. And then lastly, manage notifications. This is one of the newer objects and notifications that we created within this recent release. So what you'll see here is I'm going to go through and add a new notification. In the description, you can put it whatever makes sense to your organization. So I'm going to say new ticket created. From there, what you'll see is the notifications that you'd like to receive. So obviously in this incident, I'm going to say new, but you could do new, reopen, active, awaiting response, closed, canceled, or responded. So anytime a new ticket is created, for what type of equipment, you can do all equipment, or you can limit it down to a selected piece of equipment. I'm going to say all types because I want to know when a new ticket is created for any piece of equipment in my institution. And also you can limit it to locations. So if you only wanted to know, say a branch manager wants to know when a piece of equipment has a ticket opened, they could do that. Or say you're a regional manager and you want to know for 3 locations, you could do that. I'm going to just, for the sake of time, do all locations. And then submitted to. This is where the ticket contact can get notified. Or if you wanted a branch manager, you would put branch manager here, whatever their email is, at cooksecurity.group.com. Then anytime that a new ticket was created, I would be alerted. Not only with the ticket contact, but I would be alerted. Subject. This is what you want the subject to do, to say when it's sent to you. So new ticket created. And then in the body, again, you would put what you would want. So I'm going to put hello, new ticket created. And then click save. And as you can see, now in my manage ticket notifications, I have this new ticket created. You can see over here on the right, it's currently in the active state. If I wanted to turn that off, I would simply click it and turn it off. If I want to delete it, I simply come over here and delete it. Last thing, what you'll see is a feedback. Again, this is where we want any type of issue, any hope for a new idea, you guys come and share it here. This is where we get a lot of our feedback currently. Any types of bugs that you guys are interacting with or facing, please put it here so we can keep a tally of what's going on. When you put it in here, you will be able to get reoccurring events on that particular bug until it's sustained. Lastly, you'll see your user profile information here and a log out. So I'm going to jump in, and Kyle, any questions that have come up so far?
Yeah, we have several actually. We already get started on those.
Perfect. Let's get started.
All right, so we'll start from the top. The first question is, should the show bundled icon be green?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The first question is, the show bundled icon, should it be green?
Absolutely. So I have mine turned off, as you can see. So I like mine turned off because then they bundle the tickets together, as you can see here. If I was to unclick the bundled, as you can see, there's a lot more tickets that show up. So it's personal preference, whatever you want. I typically like it where it's a little bit less messy. So I can go in here, and if I wanted to dive in further into a specific ticket, I could actually do it by the plus button. So it's up to you, but I typically like to turn it off.
Great. Next question, is requesting service the same as creating a ticket?
Absolutely, great question. So request service is, yes, it's creating a ticket. And that's the same as making a phone call or sending in an email. moving forward down the road, probably in the next year or so, we're hoping to get everybody to request tickets and request service via the command center. But yes, it is the same entity in itself.
Great. Will this replace emailing remoteview@cooksecurity.group.com?
Great question. I think I just answered that, but yes, down the road, that is our hope to eventually alleviate that email and just live in this state.
Next question. Are we able to submit for a site survey? I do not see the option, but periodically we need a site visit completed outside of major projects.
So yes, what you can do is if you go into your projects and you request a quote, you can do it here as well. And then that would limit to the site survey. Just put in the title line, site survey request, and then so forth. You would put your information that you would hope to get a site survey completed at what location.
Great. Next one is, are there user manuals that can be shared with the attendees?
Great question. So I have created some quick one-sheet guides that we'll gladly send out after this, and to all attendees or to unique attendees, whatever your preference is.
Great. How far back is activity in electronic journals data saved?
Great question. And to kind of mirror off of that, sorry, I didn't mention it, but what we did is we actually migrated 3 months worth of data for all tickets. Sorry, I didn't mention this earlier, but I wanted to mention it now. But we actually migrated 3 months worth of data over, but you will see all tickets stored in the history. For EJs, let's see how far back we can go. Great, sorry about that. Is there a specific length of time that you're hoping to have, or is it just a generic question? Sorry.
It was more of a generic question, but Anna, if you had a specific date range in mind, please let us know.
So I was able to pull all the way back to July. So it looks like there's over 120 days worth of storage. I believe we keep, I want to say, a year's worth of data.
Perfect. She was just interested in longer than 30 days, so that should be definitely more than sufficient. All right, next question. So I have the customer view tree, but not the remote view tree. How do I see that?
So a remote view tree is dependent upon customers, whether or not that you guys are part of our remote view customer base. So if I can have one of our sales reps reach out to you with a little bit more information on that, if you'd like. And then also we can look into our agreement and make sure that you have the right viewpoints.
Great. This next question is similar. So they're missing the remote view tree, which you answered, but they're also missing the system dropdown.
So system is going to be an admin function. So if they're not an admin in their organization, they won't have system.
Great. Next question.
That's something we can reach out to the current admins for your guys' organization, or you can submit a ticket and hopefully we can get that approved through your guys' organization to get you that access.
Perfect. Next question. Are we still limited to creating a case within 30 days of the issue?
So the question was if you have to create the case within 30 days of the issue occurring, is that correct?
Yeah, if they're limited to creating a case within 30 days of the issue occurring.
So obviously that's going to be a hope on our behalf, but I imagine if the issue is a reoccurring issue that is constant, that way we can upload the attachments and whatnot to show that, hey, X, Y, Z is continually happening. Or do you have more specifics? Is it something that's reoccurring, or is it just something that you think of and 30 days have passed and you wanted to create a ticket?
So Anna said that they've been told in the past that outside of 30 days, they're no longer able to access the data.
Great. So you're talking about reviewing information past 30 days. So that's a great question. And now you'll be able to access that data. As mentioned, we're going to store that longer than 30 days. Absolutely.
Perfect. And then we have another question. So they're having issues sharing with law enforcement due to suspected firewall issues. For example, the FBI. Are you working on this with the federal government so we can share more easily with them?
Perfect. So you're talking about the outgoing email to the customer or to the FBI, is that correct?
Alexa, if you have more information on that, please share it, but I'm assuming so, yes.
And did you ensure that the external image is clicked when you guys are trying to share? This may be something that we want to work outside of this meeting, Alexa. So if you could send me an email, we can gladly work on this with you.
Great. And Alexa, feel free to post in the chat box if you need an email address, and I'll get that over to you. Perfect. Next question. Has there been a resolution on the issue of being able to upload a video with filters, timestamps to a case?
Perfect. So you're asking if you can upload an image with a timestamp associated to it. So this is
a video.
Great question. So in the case management, let's go to cases. This is something that I want to look into a little bit more. I can actually, what I'll do is, again, I'll reach out to you and make sure, but I believe within Pico, when you export the video, if you have associated timestamp on it, it's embedded to the camera itself. So if we upload that, it should show on the associated video. I don't want to say it will, but it says it should. I haven't played with that much, but I have that in my notes, and I'll have Kyle make a note so I can reach out to you directly and work through that as well.
Great. All right, question. Can you cancel or close a ticket if the issue or problem has been corrected and you don't need the service anymore?
Great question. So let's jump back to our service requests. So this one is open. And if I go to details, you can actually escalate the call, cancel the call, or add additional notes here. So within service requests, and this is just service requests, in tickets you can't, but in service requests you can. So once it's been expedited to a service order, if you go into details, you can actually cancel the call here and it'll cancel it. So what I would suggest is just entering a comment saying the issue is no longer prevalent and then cancel the call so everybody has associated information.
Great. The next question. So under their dashboard to view all ATMs, they're not seeing the last 10 EJs for one of their service locations.
Okay. What we'll need from you is down at the bottom to click the feedback and then have the associated EJ information or the hardware information, and we'll have our NOC team take a look and get that fixed for you.
Great. And under their service dropdown, they're also not seeing projects.
So this is, again, individually based on your user permissions. So what we'll need is we'll need your admin to go in and add that module to your view.
Great. And will that be the same if they're not seeing case management, cases, and case shield log?
So again, these are part of the remote view. So if they don't have access to the remote view, they probably wouldn't have access to these. But yes, again, what we'll need for that specific one is just to put the information in the feedback tab, and we'll get it taken care of for you.
Great. And I believe the answer to this next question will be similar, but I just want to make sure it gets out there. They're not seeing Pico VMS either on their drop downs.
Yeah, as long as they have access to Pico, they should have that. But if they don't have the view, then yes, please let us know. We tried to recently do an audit to make sure that all views for all customers are correct. But as you know, we have a lot of customers out there, and sometimes the audits go missed. So please let us know if you're missing something that you guys should have access to.
Next question, is there a specific search engine that you recommend? They're going to the service tickets and the service request page right now, and it's just freezing up.
Yep. So what we rule of thumb is Safari for Macs or Chrome. Chrome works really well.
And I can take the next one. Will the training recording be available for future reference? Yes, we can distribute this video to all of the attendees after the session once it's available, usually within 24 hours of us finishing up. And then it will also be posted on our website for you to share with your team as well. All right, next question. Are you saying a ticket is a request you will try and troubleshoot remotely, and a service request is asking you to come out to our equipment?
So what a ticket is a ticket is something that is requested, essentially is when you guys initiate service. So we're going to try to fix everything remotely. One, to save time for our techs, save costs for individual locations. So if it's something that we are unable to fix remotely, so our NOC will investigate each ticket. And then if they decide that they can't fix it remotely, what they will do is then they will generate a service order. And the service orders are, yes, when somebody goes to your location.
Great. So next question. I do all the service calls for our 20 branches, and on the old system, I was able to change the phone number, but keep my email as the point of contact. But the phone number was changed so the tech would not call the branch. I don't have branches set up to get notifications, and I was told to put that contact person in the comment section. Is that correct?
Sure, great. I wouldn't change. If you want to be the main point of contact for each location, yes. And as mentioned before, you now have the ability to add a CC, so you could add a branch contact as well if you wanted to.
Right. So just a quick review question. When you were going over creating notices, I missed what fields were included. For example, ticket number, terminal ID, location. What else is there?
Real quick, you said creating managing notifications, was that?
I believe so. It says creating notices, but yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So what you would need on the notifications is a brief description of what you'd like it to be. And then you would select the type of notification that you want to receive. And then you would then you'd select the equipment type. So whatever piece of equipment you want to receive a notification on. Then down below, you'd select a location. So all locations or a specific location, and then who you want to receive those notifications.
Great.
I hope, please let me know if that's not what you're asking. I want to make sure I answered the question correctly.
All right. And then it looks like Heather resolved her own issue by logging in and using the Chrome browser. So I think it's just like a great opportunity to use that as a reminder. And
yes.
The next question we have from Eric, can you customize the fields? Eric, I'm not sure 100% like what fields you're trying to customize. So if you can reply with a little more information, that'd be really helpful. Next question, Joey, I can take this one. So was the invite sent to all Command Center users? Yes, Michael, this was sent to all the users in our Command Center database. And I covered how we can get the copy of the webinar at the end. I'll be sending it out to all of you through email, and then we'll have it posted on the site. Great, so next question. What does it mean in the service request option when the ticket turns red, when the title turns red on an individual ticket?
The test ticket here is, I'm guessing that's what they're referring to. And
Yeah.
essentially it's just because of the fact that it was a test ticket, so we wanted it to stand out. Is there one that you have in specific in question?
Katie, if you do have a specific example, feel free to send it in through this and we'll get it addressed.
And what I think it's correlating to is that the state of the ticket is canceled or closed.
And Katie did confirm that she is seeing them on red in her end too, so that could just mean it's canceled or closed.
And I'll confirm with you, Katie, and send that response back to you as well. So to verify.
Great. And then we have a comment from Julie regarding EJs. Per regulation E, the EJ has to be saved for years and the data in the activity. So how can we access this information if it's not in the command center?
So you want to know if you have to go back further than a year to access data or information?
Yes, so if she wanted to access EJ activity that is potentially 2 years, 3 years old, how is that possible?
Let me verify, Julie. I want to say our NOC should have that information for you, but I don't want to be incorrect in stating that. So let me verify and get that back to you.
Great. And then this was another question. So Lucy asked if missing Pico VMS, does this need to be requested? And like Joey said, you're going to submit a feedback request for that if you do have Pico VMS and need that to be added to your dashboard. But if not, we can go over the details of acquiring Pico VMS for your institution. And then next question, is customer view only for admins as well? I only have remote view access.
No, so customer view is dependent upon the modules that you have access to. So what you'll need to do is go in and actually adjust your modules down here and provide whatever information that you have or whatever information that they provide you to. So if there's, again, what I'm guessing is that your admin just needs to go in and adjust your access levels.
Great. Next question. For managed notifications, it looks like the all locations button isn't working. It's not selecting all of them for me.
Perfect. So what you'll see is when you click the all locations, it just grays out the field and doesn't let you click any of it. So it knows that it's creating that ticket for you.
Great. Next question. I've noticed the new format of the notification emails doesn't show the location address like the old format did. Is there a way the address can be added to these?
Are you just asking for, I guess I'll have to get a more clear information of what was different from now to then, and then we'll see if we can get that fixed. So if you could send that in the chat, I'll have Kyle get that over to me.
Great. Next question. If we know a part is bad and needs to be repaired, can we enter a service order directly?
So what every ticket, or sorry, every service order, every request for service is always going to be started as a ticket, but our NOC team will then convert it over. If they see that it is a bad part or whatnot, they will convert it over to a service order and expedite the claim. Yeah.
Great. Next question. If there is found to be connection issues and transactions are missing, is there any way to have those transactions properly reported? asking because we have been told in the past that they cannot update the reporting. Could this be a feedback item?
Yes, please.
Oh, so for the notice question that we had up above, can you customize the notice to show terminal ID, location, etc.?
I'm guessing you're talking as far as ATMs, is that correct? Or are you talking notifications?
Yes, ATM.
Yeah. So you're wanting to see terminal ID, all that information within the EJ or within the dashboard?
Email notices.
Oh, email notices. Okay, email notifications. I gotcha. Great question. I haven't played with the ATMs, but what we can do is if you submit a feedback request, I'm guessing that should be something that we can integrate with and submit, that if you'd like to see all that information. I'm hoping that that is something that they'd be able to do.
Great. And then just to confirm, Katie, we did get your ticket numbers, so we'll follow up with you after this call about those specific questions. And then, all right, so some more information on the notification emails missing the address. Rochelle shared that the notification emails show the name of the bank where the equipment is located, but not their address. So we have to go to another place to see exactly where that troubled equipment is located.
Gotcha.
In regards to ATM specifically.
So when you receive that notification, you're only getting part of the address. Okay. Kyle, I think that'll be a takeaway for us, that we can request that. If it was on the old system, hopefully we can get that in the new system as well.
Perfect. And then looks like the last question we have is, what happens to cause an ITM to go from ATM mode to only ATM mode?
That's a great question. You'll have to submit that through feedback, and they'll give you the exact reasoning for why it would do that.
Great. We are nearing the end of the session, but if there's any more questions that any of you have, we're happy to stay on. So you can share those with us. Please let us know. If not, we'll conclude today's session.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
Joey. It looks like the questions have slowed down, but if you guys need any follow-up questions or any help, you can put it in that feedback section, reach out directly to Joey or to myself, Kyle Hempy, and we'll make sure your question gets answered. Perfect. Well, Joey, I think we're all ready to hop off. Thank you so much for this walkthrough. It was great and really informative.
You bet, Kyle. Speak to you soon, bud.